The version of you who makes decisions around your self-care at the end of the day is neurologically very different than the version of you right now. And the version of you at the end of the day needs a plan from the version of you at the start of the day. Welcome to your daily hit of grace and grit, your quick dose of inspiration to kickstart your day. I'm Courtney Townley, and here is today's hit. Okay, I know that was a mouthful, so let me explain what I mean. Decision fatigue, my friends, is a very real thing. We make so many decisions in the day around work and life and kids and family and coworkers and all the things that in the latter half of the day, we are not necessarily doing our best thinking. And so it makes a lot of sense that we would make some of our decisions earlier in the day. So the latter part of the day, we don't have to be making decisions, specifically around our self-care. So what does that actually mean? Well, maybe it's deciding what time you're going to leave work. Maybe it's deciding specifically what you're going to do for exercise after work, if that's something you're going to do, and what that's literally going to entail. Because the more decisions you give your brain to make later in the day, the more resistance your brain is going to have. Because not only has your brain been making a lot of decisions all day, but your blood sugar is typically pretty low at the end of the day, and we're tired. So that trifecta, low mental capacity, physical exhaustion, and low blood sugar, does not bode well for making great decisions later in the day. Maybe it's making a decision ahead of time about what you're going to eat for dinner and making sure that those ingredients are on hand and that you're choosing something to cook that doesn't create a ton of effort on your part or doesn't demand a lot of effort on your part. Because that's a kindness, right? It's a kindness to recognize that my energy and my reserves tend to be lower at the end of the day. So how can I make the things I want to be doing for myself easier so I will actually follow through? So planning, what it does neurologically, when we take a few minutes at the start of the day to make some plans about our day, I call it pre-deciding, right? Pre-decision living is another way of referencing it. But pre-deciding is just moving some of your decision-making from the end of the day into the earlier part of the day when your head is clear and your values are accessible and your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, is actually online. You pre-commit to your choices. You pre-commit to the type of person that you want to be moving through the world as. So when the depleted version of you arrives at 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, she doesn't have to decide. All she has to do is show up. Because you've made it so easy on her to follow through with whatever the follow through looks like. So all this to say, very quick reminder today, plan for the woman you will be at the end of the day, which again, if you're human, and I suspect you are, if you're listening to this show, expect that you will have low blood sugar, low energy, and not a lot of mental capacity to make hard decisions at the end of the day. So remember that when you are forward thinking into how you will eat and how you will move and the types of things that you want to be doing for yourself later in the day. And is even later in the day the best time for some of those activities? It might not be. But this I know for sure. The woman you will be at the end of the day, she needs the morning version of you to make decisions on her behalf. That is not rigidity. That is one of the most loving things that you can do for yourself. Pre-deciding is almost an act of devotion, right? And it also allows us tremendous freedom. Freedom from feeling so overwhelmed and stressed out by the end of the day, because the decisions of what I need to show up for have already been made. So what can you pre-decide about your life tonight that would make it easier for you to show up and take care of yourself in the way that you want to be taking care of yourself? If this stirred something inside of you, imagine what a whole book of clarity and courage could ignite. The Consistency Code, a midlife woman's guide to deep health and happiness, goes even deeper into the mindset and practices that create real, meaningful change at midlife. Grab your copy today over at theconsistencycode.com and keep the momentum alive.